Did you do a segment on the Ken Martin versus David Hogg kerfuffle? Well, I'm just hearing about this. I'm just hearing about this now for the first time. Yeah, this one's pretty disappointing. So David Hogg, that's the... Pardon my terrible memory. David Hogg is the young man who was the victim of a school shooting and became an anti-gun advocate and is, in my mind, known mostly for getting ratioed on Twitter. Parkland shooting victim? Okay, yeah. He was made co-chair of the DNC, which was an interesting move because he's like 25, 30 years old. He's pretty young. And, Ken Martin, he won the DNC chair. Our guy didn't get in, unfortunately. David Hogg recently said he pledged last week to spend millions funding challenges to asleep at the wheel Democrats in primaries, which I think is based, by the way, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, the country is dying. We're all going to die. It's over. It's already over. Life is over. Civilization as we know it is over. It's done. Unless we get rid of those sleepy, asleep at the wheel Democrats, which is like all of them, basically. But apparently that's not allowed. Vosh, I thought you hated doomerism. It was a joke! I'm just a birthday boy! Come on! How many times do I have to say it? Oh, it's over, it's over, it's over. When does it read as a joke? /S. I'm hitting the OBS hotkey. That puts a big /S in my... I need that. I need that. I'm just a little guy and I need that. In a swipe at David Hogg, Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin said Thursday that party officers, quote, can't be both the referee and also the player at the same time. You have to make a decision, he told reporters. Martin's remarks came as he held fast to a stronger neutrality pledge for party officers, a proposal he's expected to call for during a DNC member call Thursday afternoon. I hate this. You know why? Because the DNC neutrality pledge is bullshit. It's fake. The DNC has an enormous wealth of resources. Vosh, they didn't have this before. Okay, first of all, a neutrality pledge means nothing, but there has been a purported commitment to neutrality going back a long time. Of course, the DNC doesn't want to just openly say, yeah, we pick the candidates, even though they kind of do, but they don't say, they were forced to admit that in court, after 2016, with regard to like the super delegates and such. Basically what I'm saying is the neutrality pledge is bullshit because you can't have a neutral political party, right? Like the political party represents billions of dollars of resources, of media contacts, funding, donations, of insider knowledge, of connections. And you think that's going to be neutral? They're just going to sit to the side and like let the best man win? They're not going to put their thumb on the scale? Bullshit. I hate the fake neutrality. What I want is bias in favor of good things. It's like a rejection of civility politics. And I want it to be transparent too. I don't think there's anything wrong with the head of the Democrats saying, hey, we need to shake up. We need to shake things up in here, okay? Because right now we're getting our asses beat. We need to start prioritizing new sets of things. We need to start, primarying these asleep at the wheel Democrats. We need to elect Democrats who will actually do something. That's what David Hogg said. And Ken Martin's like, well, no, we would prefer it if we remain neutral, which would be admirable if A, they could remain neutral, which they can't, and B, neutrality was getting us anywhere, which it's not. It's getting us, neutrality right now is getting us a primo spot in an unmarked grave, okay? Want to guess who was the first Dem to push back against Hogg? Here's a hint. Hakeem Jeffries makes it clear he'll stand by incumbent House Dems. That's great. DNC co-chair, hey, we need to do something. We need politicians who will do something. Hakeem Jeffries, you. This is an entitlements program for the worst humans alive, okay? This isn't about doing anything. This is about insider trading and not doing hype moments in aura. Here's the thing, Jeffries told Jonathan Carl and ABC's This Week. I'm going to really focus on trying to defeat Republican incumbents so we can take back control of the House of Representatives and begin the process of ending this national nightmare that's being visited upon us by far-right extremism. What is the point of the Democrats if they won't even talk about primarying their own? Why do you think Republicans are always able to do what they want and Democrats aren't? Democrats will not even propose or consider ousting people who are counterproductive to their party. And primarying Democrats is a hell of a lot easier. Like, literally, like, what is the point of being a party head or being a party whip or whatever if there are no consequences to defiance? There's no point. You're essentially indicating, hey, Democrats, you can do anything. We have no standards for this party. We have no obligations that you have to meet. We have no expectations, no requirements. You can do anything that you want. It doesn't matter. Be useless. Who cares? There's no threat to you. We don't expect to hold power anyway. That sounds a lot like the GOP for a second. No, because in the Republican Party, they actually do primary people who are anti-Trump. The Trump and the MAGA cohorts are incredibly aggressive at shutting down party dissent. The Democrats take it so far in the other direction. So far. It's not that I don't want any meaningful discussion or debate or whatever, but like stuff like what Schumer pulled with the stopgap bill, like insane. Also, these people are so out of touch with actual Democrats who want new blood. Yeah, of course, because they don't like represent you. Republicans unironically do a much better job representing their constituents because Republicans put a lot of effort into A, rallying the media, and B, communicating a clear, coherent message that they actually stick to. They lie, but they stick to the message, or at least the theme of the message, because they contradict themselves pretty often. What's important is that they make their constituents want something, and then they talk about how they're doing what their constituents want. Dems have nothing. Announced last week they spent $20 million on backing primary challengers to ineffective safe seat Democrats. As I've said to Hogg, if you want to challenge incumbents, you're more than free to do that, but not as an officer of the DNC, because our job is to be neutral arbiters. Why? Shouldn't the DNC be biased in favor of the longevity of the DNC? Like, the bias already exists. He's only invoking, like, neutrality as a counter to this anti-establishment sentiment. Don't the Dems have a better ground game? Like, local Democratic politicians are better at communicating with the voter base? Oh, no, Democrats have a much better ground game, and their local politicians are way better at reaching people, but national Democrats are worse than worthless. National Democrats, their message, their outreach to the people are like genuinely worthless. Like it's a dead fucking party, man. It's a dead party. Not trying to spam this is my last message, but again, David Hogg only had $12K spent on congressional runs and had millions spent on consultants instead of anything that mattered. Isn't he pledging a future amount of money? He's not talking about previous money spent. I listen, okay, I'm not really speaking towards David Hogg's credibility as a person. I'm more talking about like the virtue of the argument being made. I guess I could look into it and see whether or not anything's actually going to the candidates or whatever. I will admit though, this does look pretty bad. $12 million raised for his PAC, of which 12,600 went to federal candidates. Total spent 11 million. So essentially 100% of it got spent not on federal candidates, but I'm talking more about the sentiment here. So would you say the best approach would be to foster an upward movement within the DNC? I think the DNC needs to run on hate and spite. I think that they need to clench their teeth and fist. I think they need to white knuckle it from start to finish. I want them screaming from the rooftops, and I want every Democrat who doesn't join them in the chorus to be ousted. Either through primaries or through like bullying behind the scenes or through like, well, hey, wouldn't it be inconvenient if somebody leaked these photos of, you know, you cheating on your wife? I don't care. Our country's dying, man. Like, we're getting like fucking to death. We're literally dying. The president isn't a president. The country is being run by incompetent sociopaths. Everything is worse than anyone imagined it could be. And also, like, it's only going to get worse in the future. Like, Democrats need to do something. And keep in mind, by the way, this isn't even a radical lefty opinion. Basically, all Democratic voters right now are also like very unhappy with the representation. Can you imagine being a mostly politically disengaged person? After 2016, after Trump won, what happened? Democrats were loud. The resistance, lib shit as it may have been, people were loud. Kamala Harris loses to Trump in 2024. What happens after? Deathly silence. Biden disappears. Kamala Harris disappears. Democratic congressional members, quiet. The most you hear is Schumer promoting his new book where he talks about the anti-Semitism of anti-genocide protesters on college campuses. Oh, a news item. Oh, what's happening? Oh, Schumer just allowed a stopgap bill the Republicans drafted and that he previously opposed to go through. Okay. Where's Kamala Harris? Nobody knows. Where's Biden? Nobody knows. Everything went quiet.
So what have you had it with?
I would say we have a series of topics that I think sometimes consume and other topics that don't actually get the attention that they should get. And we ended up fighting for the wrong things. We were really south on kitchen table issues. We weren't really good about the family room issues.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you 100%.
Okay, the only room we did really well was the bathroom. And that's the smallest room in the house.
That is such bullshit. That is total bullshit. That is buying into the right-wing media narrative. And I'm so sick of Democrats like you selling out and saying this. You know who talks about trans people more than anybody? MAGA. Kamala Harris talked about home ownership. She talked about kitchen table issues. Trump's over there droning on about Hannibal Lecter. Are you kidding me? This is where the Democrats lose because we're playing the game with the rule book. They've ripped the rule book up and are cramming it down everybody's throat. And Democrats are upset because Joe Biden pardoned his son. We got to fucking fight. They're the gender-obsessed weirdos, not us. We're the ones who fight for Social Security. We fight for Medicare. And yeah, we're not going to bully trans people. We're not going to fucking do it. Fine.
That was nice. Recent Pew Research data showed like 70% of Dem voters have a negative view of Israel. They're going to sell out minorities to avoid pushing back against Israel. Oh, no, literally, like Democrats are across the board. Like the voters are not happy and the Democratic politicians will sell everything out. They have no interest in appealing to their base. Absolutely none. They've completely given up. They believe in nothing, yeah. At least Republicans believe in hate. At least there's something to engage with there.